1. I swear, there have been more and more customers who are just really stupid lately. Either that or my tolerance for dumbness has decreased. Anyway, a few stories for you today. First, customer comes to pick up food. We ask for name or phone number for the order. Customer claims that the person who took their order did not take their name or phone number, but they ordered a few rolls, a chirashi bowl, and grilled pork belly. We tried looking for that order, but we didn't have it, so we asked them if they called or placed the order online. They said they called. When we asked what was the phone number, they called. The phone number they showed us was for the location on the other side of the city, so we told them it was for the other location. We also called the other location and asked if they had that order, and they said they did. But these people decided they were going to eat at the restaurant and they wanted their food right away, because we apparently did not do their order correctly. The whole time the dude is throwing a temper tantrum and complaining about every little thing. And as he was leaving, he tells my manager on duty that he was not satisfied, and that we should have told him in the first place that the food was at a different location, and that we should have given him and his wife a free appetizer because we didn't tell him we had different locations, and that the number he called was not our location. Second, we close at 9:30. This dude ordered at 9, and we told him it would be done in 15 minutes. 9:20 rolls around, and we just did last call. So we call dude. He doesn't pick up. Leave a message. Call 2 more times, still doesn't pick up. Call another time at 9:28. He finally picks up. We tell him we have his order ready and that we're closing in 2 minutes. He says, "Oh, I'm on my way, but I'm 20 minutes out." So we're like, "We close in 2 minutes, sir." He just says, "Okay." So I go tell my manager on duty, and she says just to transfer it to her, because we had to close the drawer. So that's what we did. 30 minutes later, he calls and says he was 5 minutes out. He finally shows up 40 minutes after we close, and didn't even leave a tip. Third, lady calls around 9 asking when we close. I told her 9:30, but last call is 9:20. For the folks already here and sitting down. You have to be here by 9:20 and order right away. She hangs up, then 2 minutes later she called again, and asked the same question. So I repeat my answer, and she asks what if I get there at 9:30? I then tell her again that last call is 9:20, you have to be sat down and order by 9:20. She hangs up. Then literally showed up at 9:20 after we did last call, and the kitchen already put some stuff away, and tried insisting to be sat. 2. Note, this happened a couple days ago, maybe Monday, while I was working with a caddy, a drink server, that only started working there for maybe a few months. I'm a very nice and patient person, so it takes a lot of fucking around or laziness to get on my bad side, as well as getting me to report you to higher-ups. But this girl, she really pushed her luck, and now I'm not willing to work with her anymore, and yes, I reported her, to not just the manager on duty, but also to our department supervisor. Sit back and enjoy my long rant. I had just gotten to work and clocked in around 9:10ish, setting things up at the beverage station for the day, getting carts ready, brewing coffee and tea, putting bags on the recycling bins and restocking cups for the possible events that will be happening throughout the day. Yes, we did have events all day. Ugh. As I'm setting things up, I go over to where the manager on duty had printed out who is working on which floor. I'm looking and see 2 people working second floor. Third floor, myself, and Poof, our entitled caddy because she likes to pull disappearing acts. I check the clock on my phone. It's about 9:30ish, and we both were supposed to be there by 9:15. First red flag. I just brush it off as her being a little bit late or traffic problem, because it is early in the morning. I'm basically done setting up the floor when Poof finally shows up, and she only pushes the recycling bins out to the carts. It's 10 a.m. We're now open, and there's a few drinks tickets printing out, nothing too bad that I can't handle. 5 minutes later, tickets are printing out a bit quicker, now mainly waters because it's another very steamy hot day. I'm filling cups with water as quickly as I can and placing them on our drink trays and trying to make sure the correct tickets are going to the correct bays. I'm peeking over my shoulder hoping to see Poof coming to the drinks, and nope, she never appears. Instead, Todd, a bay worker who dislikes Poof, comes and asks, "Hey, how are you doing back here?" Followed by, "Oh, Shoot, look at all these tickets and drinks. Where's Poof? I'm still focusing on making drinks. I don't know, she was here a minute ago. She might have gone to the bar. Eventually, the other bay-hoes come to check on their drinks. By the time I'm caught up with the drinks, Poof finally shows her face, saying, "How you doing back here?" She notices the last tray that I just finished making and takes it. Me and Todd stare at her in disbelief before sighing and just let it go. But as Todd is heading back to his bay, he shakes his head disapprovingly, clearly saying that he already doesn't like her not helping out. A few minutes later, we have another rush of drinks. Poof actually makes an attempt to help me out while saying, the bar is so busy, that's why I couldn't come back right away. Which is a lie, because the bar is just a few steps away, and I can hear the glasses chattering if they were making lots of drinks. Again, I brushed it off, didn't say anything to her, and went about working, while refilling the ice and restocking the cups for the remainder of our shift. It's noon. Poof comes into the bev station saying, I ordered food and it should be in the break room by now. I'm gonna go eat. Since there was no rush at the moment, I let her go on her break. This girl was gone for more than 30 minutes, and we are only supposed to be on a 15-minute break. I'm getting flooded with drinks again, and once again, Todd along with the other bay hosts have to come and run their own drinks again. Second red flag. Poof finally comes back from her break, and is standing by her locker on her phone, accidentally drops her drink and spills it on the floor. Why? I'm thinking it's just a tiny spill, calm down. I'm the one who's more stressed out here. She cleans it up before walking away, luckily. I tell her, hey, since you're back on, I'm gonna go on my break before the next event starts at 2, okay? How long are you going to take? Third red flag. I only brought a sandwich, 2 actually homemade. I'll be gone for 10 minutes max. As I'm getting my food out of my work backpack, I notice her glaring daggers at me. I ignore it because I'm hungry and I need to sit down for a bit. I quickly eat and head back. As I'm heading back, I survey the carts to see if any of them need to be changed and cleaned, because it's part of our job. As the carts are starting to get a bit full, I tell Poof the carts are starting to get full. Why don't you get the first round of condensing the carts into one and bring them down? Then I'll do the second round later. Poof only condenses one cart and leaves all the others. Causes Jack, a manager, to come and asks me to condense before the 2 p.m. event starts. I grab the clean cart Poof just cleaned and condense all the carts by grabbing all the dishes. Change to silverware bins that were literally overflowing with used forks, knives, spoons. Grab the dirty rags and used cups, and bring everything down to the kitchen to be washed. I finish this and head back up with the now clean cart. Run a drink to the bay with a group of friendly girls, and they want another order of french fries and ranch to dip the remaining fries with. I relay the order to their bay host and go get them their ranch. Oops, we're out of ranch, I say to Poof. We're out of ranch. I have to go to the kitchen and refill it for the guests. This time she's glaring at me like I'm flipping the bird at her. But I'm in a hurry, I just leave to get the ranch. I grab the container and refill it, come back up to find a few trays full of drinks. I start grabbing on and Poof says, hey, can you help me make these drinks? Thinking she has a bunch of tickets to handle, okay, I'll help you. As I'm filling 3 cups with water and a Sprite, Poof just walks over to the counter and casually leans against it. Watching me make the drinks she was having so much difficulty making. Beef freaking ass. I finish and apologize to the girls about the wait, which they weren't angry about, luckily. 3 p.m., an hour before our shift ends, I notice one cart is starting to get full again, while a different one just needs the silverware bin to be changed. I tell Poof is now just chilling in the bev station on her phone. We should condense all the carts one final time before the next shift starts, so they don't get overwhelmed with carts. I just did the carts and none of them are even full. Ugh. Well, I just checked them as I was walking back. The one outside needs to be changed and the silverware bin on the far cart needs changing. She just ignores me and turns her attention back to her phone. I was livid and about to repeat myself until a ticket printed out. So I make the drink and hope Poof would go change the cart. No, she just continues ignoring me, so I go and change the cart myself. I condense the carts and change the bin. I'm pushing the cart to the elevator to bring to the kitchen and see Poof standing there. I push the cart inside and then she steps in too. Confused, I step out and head for the bev station. Want me to hold the elevator? Did you want me to do the carts or were you going to do it? She rolls her eyes at me. Well, you could have told me so. All while glaring at me. I had enough and walked straight out to Jack. "What's up, Dragon Crystal? You seem a bit upset." I'm angry but trying to stay calm and almost in tears. All day Puff has been nothing but rude, glaring at me and basically making me do everything for her. And Todd can back me up because he was witness to everything. All last month, whenever she's polishing silverware or on her phone and hears a ticket being printed out, she'll loudly say to me, "Ticket!" instead of making the drinks herself. Half the time, the reasons why I don't hear it print out would be due to me 1. Getting things from the back, 2. I just walked in after the ticket already printed out, 3. I'm in the middle of pushing a cart full of dishes in, and the sound of dishes clattering together drowned out the sound of the printer. Jack is a former caddy himself. "Okay, I'll talk to her about this and keep an eye on her and make sure she doesn't continue this behavior. Let Tim know. Tim is our department supervisor, so he can also talk to Poof about this. Also, good job today. You worked very hard." He gives me a gentle pat on the shoulder before going to talk to Poof, who just happened to be returning with the cart. She clearly wasn't happy to be told off, and bolted as soon as the 4 p.m. caddy arrived. Yes, I did let Tim know about Poof's behavior through a nice long message with our workplace chat group. I'm sure she'll like that even more. Coda, a fellow caddy, was stuck working with her today, and she literally disappeared on him all day, and he was forced to run the entire floor by himself. Each time I saw him walking by, he looked as though he was going to explode from anger. 3. About 10 years ago, I was managing an Asian fusion restaurant. It was a weekday, so we didn't have a bartender, so I would handle the bar. Our bar was separate from the dining room, so I would go between, making all the mixed drinks and checking on the servers and kitchen. Manager stuff. A couple sat down at the bar and ordered a couple drinks and appetizers. I placed the order and make the drinks, and then a server had an issue that took me a while to solve. We had a good team there, so another server saw that my apps were up and took them out for me. She then came and found me and said, "I took your apps to the bar, but she looks upset. She said everything was fine, but you might want to check on her." From one problem to another, I think. Back at the bar, he was nowhere to be seen, and she, we'll call her Kay, was typing angrily on her phone. Her drink, a Cosmo, was empty, and his was barely touched. The apps were untouched. I prided myself on knowing what my customers wanted before they did, so I started mixing her another drink. She put the phone down and asked for another Cosmo just as I was garnishing. I said, "You mean this one?" and set it in front of her. She gave me that surprised look that I absolutely loved as a server. Then Kay asked, "He left, didn't he?" "I don't know," I responded, "but I can find out." I did later check, and the hostess said he bailed only a few minutes after they got there. You would not believe what that asshole asked me. Kay then explained that was supposed to be their first date. They had met through friends and had been talking for some time, but this was the first time for the two of them to go out, just the two of them. After hellos, the first thing he did was ask, "Am I getting lucky tonight?" Needless to say, Kay reacted negatively to this. He said he needed to pee and proceeded to leave the building. Kay asked for another drink. I said, "Sure, but you do need to eat." It was a slow night, and I figured Kay could use some company. So I spent most of my time that night at the bar, chit-chatting and polishing glasses and such. Eventually, I said something, and I saw an abrupt change in her demeanor. Never before had I seen such a clear indication that a woman was interested in me. She was attractive, and I was flattered. She ended up hanging out until close, having 5 or 6 drinks and a full meal in 4 hours. And she was not a small girl, so she was probably feeling pretty good, but not drunk. I called her a cab, and when she left, she asked if I would come by later. I said, "No, you're ahead of me on the drinks, but here's my number. And if you still feel the same way tomorrow, I would love to take you out sometime." We ended up dating for 1.5 years until we had an amicable breakup. We still talk often, and are good friends. 4. I worked at a popular steakhouse, a Texas Roadhouse knockoff where you could throw your peanut shells on the floor, and country music played loudly throughout the restaurant. We were packed every weekend with an average wait time of at least 45 minutes to an hour. The food was amazing. We served quality steaks, smoked our own pork and brisket, and made a crawfish chowder from scratch. Most of the staff had been there for years, and the restaurant had a loyal following in the community. I loved working there. I worked every Saturday, usually a double shift. Most Saturdays I'd be lucky to get a full 30 minutes between shifts, and that was fine with me. I was fine without a break at all. I was all about the money. Saturday was a huge money day for me. On one Saturday in particular, we were slammed with large parties, and my section had one of those large tables that could be set up to fit a party of 12, or a divider could be put up and 2 parties of 6 could be sat there. We'd finally started to slow down, and the lobby began to empty out, and I was looking forward to being cut off the floor and going home. My tables were all sat and eating food or finishing up their meals and close to cashing out. I assumed my night was nearly done, but if you know anything about the restaurant business, you know you should always expect the unexpected. In the blink of an eye, the lobby filled up again. I was sat a party of 10 at my large table, and once they were all sat comfortably, I greeted them, mustering up whatever genuine cheer I had left in me, which wasn't very much. I started at 11:30, and it was 10 p.m. now. Remember, I also didn't get a full 30 minutes between my lunch and dinner shifts either. I wasn't irritated, it's not the guest's fault I worked a long day, I was just exhausted. I started taking their beverage orders and was informed that they were celebrating a birthday. They were all adults in their mid to late 20s to early 30s, with no small children. They all ordered bar drinks, and the last gentleman's drink order I took ordered a round of shots for the table. They were looking for a good time, and I wasn't sure I was up to giving them what they needed. I got the drinks ready and passed everything out, starting with the shots. The guy that ordered them did a little toast, and I passed the other drinks out while he did his thing. When I got back around to him, he asked if it had been busy that night, and how I was doing. I always found it amusing when guests asked me about my day. Did they really want me to be honest? I smiled and told him honestly, I'm exhausted. It's been a madhouse all day. I've been here since 11:30. He replied, we'll take it easy on you. Promise. I'm experienced enough to know that usually means the opposite of what they say, just like, I'm a really good tipper, or I never complain about my food, but... I took the party's order and covered my exhaustion expertly. I got back to the guy that ordered the shots again. We'll call him the host of the party. He asks me a couple questions, order his meal, and asks me if separate checks would be too much trouble. I tell him absolutely not. Separating the guest checks in our computer system was simple, and only took a few minutes if you knew what you were doing. I told him we could figure out the checks later. He then orders another round of shots and says, keep 'em coming, and I'll tip you 100%. Yeah, right. I responded with an eye roll and a disbelieving smile. He assured me he would keep his word. I take a lot of pride in what I do, I'm very good at it, and I've made a decent living as a server. People look down on those of us who have chosen the restaurant business as our careers. People don't think we make very good money, that we're all one day away from being completely destitute. That's simply not the case. I've made a good living as a server. I made more money than my ex-husband and my current husband. I did as the host asked without getting anyone completely shit-faced and kept bringing drinks to him and the birthday boy. I entertained the table between drinks and served them food somewhere in there as well. I boxed everyone's leftovers up and brought out a sundae for the birthday boy and got the staff to sing our restaurant's horrible birthday song. All in all, the celebration was a success. Everyone seemed to enjoy themselves. I split the checks up, dropped them off, and when they were ready, I cashed them out. When I brought the host's credit card and receipts back for him to sign, he said, I promised you a 100% tip, and I'm a man of my word. You were awesome. We had a really good time. You were honest with us about having a long, busy day, but that still didn't stop you from giving us good, friendly service. You could have been a total asshole. Thank you. I tried to stop him from tipping me that much, telling him 15 to 20% was enough. I had made enough money throughout the day. The gesture was kind, but not necessary. He didn't listen. He tipped me $164.65 on his bill of the same amount. My mouth fell to the floor. I just couldn't believe someone who actually followed through with what they were going to do. I felt completely dumbfounded. I had no words. I try to remember this story when I'm having a bad day. I know this kind of thing never happens, but just knowing it's possible might help someone else get through their day. Someone will surprise you, and it'll be the most unlikely person. 5. Let me tell the story chronologically. Sometime last week I was having a horrible dinner shift from start to finish. It was one of those days that customers are horrible, kitchen is messing up, you're getting double sat at the worst times, etc. I was preoccupied with a 9-top of young to late teens, early 20s type, who did not know what to order and kept asking questions and being extra. A 3-top table that I've been neglecting during this time was getting irate about not having soda refills. One of those guys proceeded to cuss and yell at me. Told the manager I was having an attitude with them the whole night, which was a straight-up lie because all I've done after that was drop off the damn sodas, not make eye contact and exclaim, "Sure," in a sarcastic tone after they demanded to see a manager. I'm not a new server, been in this industry a while, but this stayed with me. Found myself in a funk the last couple of days, questioning why the fuck am I doing this, and reevaluating a bunch of shit in my life. It was the absolute last straw, so I took that shit hard. Anyway, dude came to the restaurant tonight and apologized, handed me a tip because he stiffed me last time. Initially, I was very touched and appreciative. Explained that yeah, I might have dropped the ball on them that day, but it was unintentional and that it was already a crazy night. He said he was just really thirsty that time because he and his boys played tennis. It was a kind gesture, and I definitely appreciate it. He seemed to really mean that, especially since he went out of his way. I was very touched. Though when I got home I realized that I could have said something else, like, yeah, I get it, you were being neglected. But I literally had a shitty few days being so discouraged with working for the public, and honestly being depressed. All that because someone was thirsty. I wish I could have said something more, but I also think that what I said to him was good. Also, he was the final straw that time, which I guess is what pushed me over to carrying it with me for a while. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates, episode 140. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you liked the video, then please do boop the like button and share the video around. I appreciate both those things more than I can possibly express in words. It's a lot. Okay. Well, let's see. Saturday, I expect we'll have some sort of a stream tonight. A streamy stream of stream-like proportions. Don't know what we're doing. Possibly Phasmophobia. We'll see what mood I'm in. New update was fun, but I'm already getting bored with it. So there is... they did announce today they've got 2 new people working on the game with the one person that was working on it. So hopefully that means more wonderful content to come with that. Also, I haven't said this for a while, and I really should say it more often. I want to take a moment to thank every one of my subscribers. I appreciate you guys infinitely, and your loyalty and sticking with me and my channel throughout the years. It not only sustains me on a financial level, but it sustains me on an emotional level too. Things are not good for my channel right now. That we're very much in the ebb rather than the flow. You've heard me talk about ebbs and flows. Right now we're in an ebb, and I just want to let everyone that's still here know that you mean a lot to me. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.